The ACCC, they've lost a case really about a merger that is going ahead between TPG and Vodafone. Joining us now is ACCC Chairman Rod Sims. Rod, thank you for your time. Now, the argument put forward from their part is that Optus and Telstra are such big players in this market, they're still not coming close to their dominance. Why shouldn't this merger be allowed to go ahead?
Vodafone, TPG was planning to enter this market from about 2013. We observed a couple of years ago that that was going to be good for competition. You know, TPG owns iiNet, Internode. They're the second largest fixed line player, big transmission network, lots of customers. Them coming into the market, they were foreshadowing very low price consumer deals to grow share. This merger now takes them out. And so the two worlds we've got are one where you've got four players approaching the market in different ways, trying to differentiate themselves, one trying to grow the share. And but now with the merger we've got three big players. They very much look alike, and I don't think any of them will want to rock the boat, and so that will mean higher prices for consumers than they would have got under the alternative world of TPG entering. So it's a big loss for consumers.
The judgment actually said, Rod, this is one of the points of contention, that the ACCC was trying to suggest TPG might build a fourth network if it were allowed to go on in its own right, and the CEO has said that's not the case, and the judgment agreed with that. Do you accept that now?
Let me put it this way. From 2013, TPG were entering the market. They spent $1.25 billion on spectrum to enter the market. They were rolling out. I think the issue with accepting, as the judge did, the word of the merger parties, this is not about calling anybody a liar. Let's just get away from that. This is, and I've been in the private sector for 20 years, you're involved in a merger, that's your only focus. You can't envisage the world without the merger. So I just think we've got to have a bit of realism here, a bit of real world practicality. If every time we deal with an issue you have to give total weight to what the merger party says or what anybody who we may allege is doing something they shouldn't says, then that's not the world we want to be in. Let's try and focus on what we had here, which is a fourth player coming along, and then the rhetoric changed when the merger was announced, and no, we're no longer rolling out, we're going to merge with Vodafone. We've lost that fourth competitor. That's bad news for consumers.
The argument put forward by Labor MP Stephen Jones on our show earlier this morning was that most of their assets are focused on city centres, not the regions, and so they can't possibly be seen to be competing with giants like Optus and Telstra. Do you think that's a fair characterisation?
No, I don't, because what we want is differentiated products. So Telstra has the biggest network across the country. Optus is closing in on them with its investment. Third is Vodafone, who themselves I think cover 95 or 96% of Australia. TPG's offering was going to be city-based. Now the advantage of that is, I mean, they could do that cheaply, you know, cover 70-75% of the population by just being focused on our major cities. But because Telstra, Optus and Vodafone have national pricing, any competition they bring in the cities would then benefit the country as well. The price competition would flow nationwide.
Are you open to the idea, Rod, this is the other argument put forward, that a bigger third competitor might outweigh the benefits of having a third and a fourth?
Look, I understand that argument, and let me just say these are always difficult issues. The different views on both sides. The test is, of course, is there likelihood of a substantial lessening of competition? Let me put it, we hear this argument all the time. We need three big players, look-alike players, to actively compete against one or the other. But let's just take banking. There's four big players there. That's better than three. But if you had a real upstart coming along going to challenge them, would you be comfortable if one of the big four banks bought them out? And you can apply that to a whole range of sectors. So if we're going to say, no, the big players can stay big, they can buy out upstarts, new players wanting to come in and disrupt the market, I don't really think that's good for the market. I think we're better off with different players coming in at different stages rather than what we've done here, which is consolidate the market, 90% share amongst the three players. I've no doubt Vodafone, TPG might argue they'll do different things now that they're merged, but keep in mind Vodafone's, I think, the largest mobile telecommunications player in the world. There's a lot of stuff they can do with or without this merger.
So what's your recourse now? Do you have any options?
We'll obviously carefully consider the judgment, as we always do, as the other side would have done if we had won the case, and we'll see whether there's any errors around which we can appeal. So you don't appeal based on whether you like or dislike the judgment. You appeal on whether there's an error-based ability to do that. So it's a 300-page judgment. I'll let the lawyers spend a bit of time on that. But absent the appeal, no, this is the end of the game.
Knowing your thoroughness, Rod, I'm tipping you'll be reading it as well. We'll let you get back to those 300 pages. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.